Today's date is July 10th, 2018, 11:28 a.m. And before we get started, guys, I wanted to record this conversation with our friends from GPM, mainly Jeff, so that way we can facilitate the information to a lot more of our people in terms of what we're going to discuss, which is all the extras that GPM provides to us as agents and managers and builders, but mainly doing this over the telephone, in our relationship with GPM, but also, you know, to have them hear it from you. You get what I mean? I think it'll just facilitate it for more
Right.
of our people, and not that I don't like calling you every day, but you get my point.
Okay.
So if it's okay with
Yeah. No. No.
you and Michael, if we want to discuss something private, we can do that after. But I do want to record this part because I just believe it merits it. So, Michael, do I got your permission to record the call?
Yes, of course.
Jeff, do I got your permission?
Yes, you do.
And Orlando, do I got your permission?
Yes.
All right. All right, Jeff. So, Jeff, this is Michael, the gentleman that, I sent over his letter of intent and also his,
Hey, Jeff.
of what
Good
he
morning
envisions, of what he
or
envisions.
afternoon for you, Michael.
Right.
Yeah,
And,
it's later in the day for us on the other side of the country.
Exactly.
and Jeff, as you've seen, you got a little bit more of his background, but can you share with us, what your role is at GPM and get into all of these extras, including the
What
dividend?
happened? I can't hear you anymore.
You
Yeah, I
there?
can hear.
Am I the only one?
I'm here.
I'm here.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Lost you there.
Can you hear me now? There you go. There he
All
is.
right, guys. Sorry about that. So, Jeff, can you share with us, your role at GPM and then get into, just all the benefits that, are provided for the agent and, also the part of the carrier being a mutually owned and how beautiful all of that works?
Okay.
All right.
You want my dividend speech, huh?
I like that one, man. But and I think it merits the conversation because Michael is a big player in the investment world, right? And
Uh-huh.
he wants to learn and has already started his journey on the telephone sales. But we're trying to minimize risk, and Michael knows this, being in the same business risk. And
Hmm.
but I also want him to see where all the money's at because I want to be as straight up as I can with him because I would love to bring not all of his organization, but maybe one or two or three of his stellar writers over here to GPM, and we can grow
Okay.
it
Great.
slowly, right? So take it.
Great. Well, let me just say that I'm going to talk about a what we call Capital Club, which is talks about is our incentives that we give to agents. They're agent level incentives that are they are effectively commission, but they're not commission. They're sometimes they're bonuses and other goodies, if you will. And the very first thing that we start off with is a quick start bonus. And now if you add the value of all these bonuses up and these these incentives, an agent can do between another 12 to 18% commission effectively on what his base commission is. So it's a pretty nice little well, in Louisiana they call it a lagniappe. Lagniappe is that's the 13th donut. When you buy a dozen donuts and they give you 13, the 13th donut is the lagniappe. So that's a common
Okay.
word in Louisiana. So anyway, we start off with a little quick start bonus, and that quick start bonus is when an agent gets to $6,000 of our net production amount, and effectively net production for all intents and purposes is premium. So an agent that writes $6,000 of premium during at least his first 6 months or before the end of his 6 month, we're going to send him an extra little $200 bonus, and that actually goes on on what we call a persona card. And I'm going to tell you a little bit more specifically about the persona card in a couple of minutes. But right now, that little bonus of $200 goes into the persona card, and we're going to send them the agent a Lands End polo shirt with a GPM Life logo on it. We've got a lot of guys that when they go out and talk to customers face to face, they like to wear a logoed shirt. It just makes it look like they're on the right team, and we think that's a pretty positive thing. So anyway, so that's a quick start bonus, and quick start bonuses also allow people to get some of the other educational perks that we have. So the next thing that I would talk about was more specifically about that persona award, that $200. It goes into a persona card, and basically a persona card is a credit card that GPM will put 1.5%, 3%, 4.5%, 6%, 10% bonuses in every time an agent writes a piece of business. And if that just kind of each time a policy gets issued, $15, $20, $30, $40, $50 goes into that little credit card, and agents can use that credit card for whatever they want. Now, the guys that are married, and Laura and Orlando have heard me say this before, I think that the really, really smart thing to do for guys that are married is to give that credit card to their spouse, and say something like, "Honey, here's a little credit card. Every time I write a piece of business, it's going to get a little money that goes into it. Could be $15, could be $20, $30, $70, whatever it is. It's a percentage of what I make, and I'm going to give this card to you. It's your card. You can spend it on yourself. You can spend it on the kids. You can spend it on the house. You can spend it on us. You can spend it however you want to, but it's the way you participate in my business. It makes you very aware of what's going on in business, because if your wife is supportive of you and you're a salesperson, that's a big positive issue for anybody. Doesn't matter what you're selling. If you're selling cars or funeral lots or life insurance, it's a positive. So now the beauty of this little bonus is the more you sell, the better your percentage is. It goes into the pot. You get up to $50,000. Well, if you get up to $30,000, and it's basically up to $50,000, it's about 1.5% that goes in. But after you get over $50,000, it becomes 3% going in. And after you get over $75,000, it's 4.5% going in. And $100,000, it's 6%. And at $150,000, so you got a guy that does $150,000 in a calendar year, and by the end of that year, we're putting 10% of every dollar that he makes is going into his credit cards. That's another 10% commission.
Are you saying $150,000 in annual premium? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, annualized premium, right.
Okay.
Exactly right. And we call that production amount. $1 of annualized premium is $1 production amount.
Okay.
Okay, so that bonus is called persona. Then that's a persona reward or persona card. You'll hear that. Now, the other thing that happens, of course, is we want to have a fellow that's writing business all year long, and we have really our goal is to get an agent's best business. We want them to write a piece of business that's going to be persistent and last and last and last. And when it does, he's going to continue to get renewals for the rest of the lifetime of the policy. And that's really one of the beauties of the insurance business is long-term renewals. And we'll pay a production bonus that helps get that started. And we have 3 levels of production bonus. We've got a silver level, a gold level, and a platinum level. And the platinum, I'm just going to talk about the platinum level, and everything else is not quite as good as that. But the platinum is the best level, and that assumes that a guy writes at least $30,000 of net production amount a year. That's net. That's what he wrote minus whatever lapsed, and it's at least $30,000. So if he writes at least $30,000, and has a 13-month moving average persistency of 85%, and he places at least 80% of what he writes, and it stays in business, then we're gonna generate a platinum level bonus, and that bonus starts off at $30,000. At $30,000 at the end of the year, we're going to send him $1,000. At $100,000 at the end of the year, we're going to send him $5,250. So as you can see, a guy that does $100,000 a year of net production, there's another 5.25% commission. So you can see that all these bonuses add up pretty rapidly to make up nice little extras that the agent gets paid. So that preferred agent bonus is based upon a whole year's production, and it's paid sometime in January, as soon as is practical for the company after we get all of our statistics done. And,
okay.
Consistency placement, all that kind of stuff. So nice bonus. Now, by the way, you as a manager are not responsible for that. This is something that GPM Life does. We pay it on an agent level, and you as a manager, if you are writing business yourself, you can qualify for these bonuses yourself also. So not a bad deal. So in other words, some of the managers that I've known that have been the most effective have been guys that continue to sell insurance. In addition to being managers, they sell insurance and kind of stay active in the business. When you can show your agents that you can go out and make the money too, then anything you tell them becomes certainly more believable. So,
what I've been in the habit of doing is, stockbroker, commodity trader, and now as an insurance person, I will get my agent's leads. I will sit down with the agent with his leads, and I will start calling his leads and show him how it's done.
Perfect. That's exactly a very, very good way to do it. One of the most successful guys that I've ever saw that was both the best combination recruiter and trainer, he died in an automobile accident about 2 years ago, but I'd known him for 30 years. His name was Lynn Bailey. Lynn would take guys out, and he would show them how to sell insurance in a very specialized market to federal employees. And he would take a guy out, and if the guy got three or four appointments for a week, Lynn would show him how to get another 8 or 10, and they'd go see 12 to 16 people in a week. And Lynn would show that guy how to make $15,000 or $20,000 in a week, and that is very impressive when you've got somebody that's sitting there watching a pro, make sales, generate leads, make sales, close sales, and follow up. So, some of the other things that we do, are kind of recognition awards and reimbursements. Guys are always want to buy, and we don't require it, but it's a good idea for them, and that's to buy something like an errors and omissions insurance policy. So if a guy is a preferred agent, that's that agent that does at least $30,000 a year, of premium, and has at least 75% of persistency and 75% placement. If he does that, then he becomes what's called a preferred agent, and that's really what that's kind of like the minimum guy we're looking for, a guy that's going to make at least $30,000 a year, and so if we got a guy that does that, we are going to help reimburse him for 50% of the cost of his E&O insurance up to our maximum of $300. So if he's got a $600 insurance policy, we'll pay $300 for him. If he's got an $800 insurance policy, we're going to pay $300. So that's just the first little benefit. We have in insurance, there's always been the $1 million roundtable, which has kind of been a standard for agents for years and years. You need to be a member of the National Association of Insurance and Financial Advisors, but qualifying for the roundtable will get you expenses reimbursed if you go to the meeting, and we'll reimburse an agent that qualifies up to $1,000 towards expenses that he would incur going to the MDRT meeting. So. we also have a reimbursement program for folks that want to get incentives, or the folks that want to get a designation, an insurance designation, like Chartered Financial Consultant, CLU, Certified Senior Advisor, Life Underwriter Training Council Fellow, things of that nature, things that typically have to do with older people. And the reason that we do that is because everybody has to have CE requirements for their professional licenses, and if we can incent a fellow to go ahead and take one of those kind of courses, really all he has to do is take one every couple of years. But if you do that for 4 or 5 or 6 years, and pretty soon you're going to be able to get a designation. And certainly designations are credentials. In other words, it's like walking into a doctor's office, and you go in, you've never been in there before. What's the first thing you do? You look on the wall and see where he graduated from college, right? See where his medical school was. Make sure that he has a medical degree, right? So and that's kind of the same thing with with agents, so we'll help them get those designations. We'll pay up to 50% of those course fees. That's not a bad deal. By the way, a guy that does a little better, he's, let's see, bigger, better, higher amounts, and becomes a President's Council member. Instead of being 50% of some of those benefits, they get 75% of those benefits. So, the better you do, the better we are. And typically, the purpose for this is pretty simple. The purpose is we want your best business. We want business that's going to be consistent, persistent, and valuable, profitable for the agent. Agents go out and write a ton of business, and only 50% of it lasts. So, they're working for half of the money. There's no sense in doing that. You're better off to not write a piece of business that you think is going to lapse than writing it and then getting 2 months of commissions and having everything charged back because it was a bad piece of business. So one of the other benefits that we have is we'll help pay for their membership in the NAFA organization, and that's not always something that's real exciting for final expense type people, but it's getting to be more and more because you want to join professional organizations. You want to be around other people that are doing what you're doing, and that's certainly a way to do it. So we'll also have occasionally meetings that people can be invited to that are training meetings of some sort. We either we'll invite a certain amount of people to be like a President's Council. We'll select those folks out of the groups that qualify, so that they represent all final expense agents or all agents in a certain area. So it's just another little way that we can help stay ahead of the game and know what's going on with our agents and really have provide them with the things that they need. So. Other things that we do is we've got special recognition on business cards and and there's logo merchandise that you can get. Again, a lot of people like having that stuff. And I think that's probably I guess in order to qualify for the President's Club, it requires at least $50,000 worth of paid production and a higher persistency and a higher placement, typically around 92% persistency and 83% for placement. So, and those are effectively the bonuses that are paid in addition to commissions. And as I said, they're agent level bonuses. They're paid by GPM. They don't come out of anything that that you have. So.
And I also want to add one thing: in the lead refund. Jeff,
that was okay. I was just about ready to start talking about that. That's the other thing that's really a nice. It's not an incentive per se. You don't have to qualify. So it's basically a reimbursement. if an agent buys leads, let's say he buys leads from a vendor. You know, the vendor sends out 1,000 leads, you know, and the agent gets back 15 lead cards. And the agent goes out and he'll make a sale. As long as he makes a sale, at least 5 policies sold in a calendar month. So each year is its own little, each month, I'm sorry, is its own little year. So 5 sales or 5 policies issued in a calendar month qualifies the agent to get $40 for every lead card that generates a sale. So let's assume you got 5 lead cards, $100 back, and what that does is helps reimburse agents for their, for their prospecting costs. It helps reimburse, lead generation. It's a little positive deal. It's what I call it is pay for performance. The better you do, the more you get paid. So as long as you're doing five policies in a calendar month, all the policies that are issued that off of lead cards in that calendar month generate $40 for every lead card that's.
Okay. I have a question.
Shoot.
What if I am the one that's buying the leads for my agents?
Okay. Well, we can work that out. And typically, what I've told managers is that if you are buying the leads, and the agent is selling the policy, selling those applications, and you're providing him, let's say that you provided the guy with all the lead cards that generated the sales, and he generated 5 policies, and there was 5 lead cards that generated those 5 policies, and you're going to send the lead card in. Yeah. So what we would do is we would pay that to you. We could do that. That's not a problem.
Mm-hmm. Because I like to filter through the leads that we get personally, so I like to buy them. That way I'm in control of them, so I know the quality. So I know my closing ratio. I want to refine it to an art. That's what we've done in the investment business, to where we pick up the phone, we have a really good feeling we're going to close that particular deal. I want the same to carry over. And believe me, I've sampled all the type of leads out there. I don't like them. I think that we can do a much better job of our closing ratio per lead. So it wouldn't be a batch of so-so leads, to generate 5 policies in a calendar month. We would be going after, because you talk about persistency. Persistency starts with the quality of the lead itself, I believe.
Absolutely.
If I've got that person, I know that person's got the income. I know he has the desire. I know that they are wanting it. I'm not having to oversell it. It's going to stay on our books. So for me, our persistency should go up because of the quality of the leads that we're going to use.
Absolutely. The better your persistency, the better you get paid. You get paid by us. As I've said before, we are looking to pay you for your best business. The better your business, the better we pay you. And so if you think you've got a policy that you're just dying, somebody's chomping at the bit to sell it, and because they feel like, God, I gotta make a sale, and you don't think it's going to last, don't sell it with GPM. Sell it with somebody else. We
have no interest in it. Yeah. We have several qualifiers that a potential customer would, in a conversation would go through before we consider it as a lead. Honestly.
Sure.
Where are you from originally?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm a native Texan, actually. Can't you tell? I get my
a little bit. We're at in Texas.
From drinking out of Dixie cups, right?
Yeah.
Hey,
we're at in Texas.
Hey, Jeff speaks Spanish too, my good friend.
No, I don't.
No me diga.
I can understand a little bit if you guys speak slowly. That's about it.
Yeah. Well, that's another thing, Jeff, is once we're moving forward with a little bit of a force, I'm going to invest in the Hispanic market business because I have and can recruit bilingual myself. I'm fluent in Spanish, so there's nothing that can get by me. And I will develop my own targeted Hispanic leads as well to really aggressively go after that business. I speak several languages. I speak English, I speak Spanish, I speak some African languages, I speak some Turkish, and I speak Mississippi.
Okay.
Yeah.
Speak Southern, right?
Yeah.
You've been drinking out of Dixie cups too, right? So
all my life.
I lived all over the world, so I hopefully I have what's called BBC English, that it doesn't betray me, and from any particular area. I do speak French. I do speak French, but I lived in Panama.
Spain.
I lived in Cuba. I lived in France.
I have an office in Panama.
Do you? Okay. Well, both my brother and sister were born in Panama, so.
Okay.
But and I was born in Texas, so my dad said none of his kids were native-born Americans. So. But he was from Oklahoma, and I told him that the reason Texas didn't float off into the Gulf of Mexico was because Oklahoma sucks. So. Anyway.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I lived in Texas all over when I was a kid. My daughter lives outside of Dallas.
So
Jeff, really? Okay.
Jeff, yes. I know you have to run, but one more thing.
Okay.
Michael, so what exactly do you have any other question in mind for Jeff?
Actually, at the end, he answered most of what I wanted to ask, but I don't see any of our people that would be ever satisfied earning $30,000 a year or even $50,000 a year. To be honest,
yeah, that's okay. That's a minimum. That's a starting point. We don't expect that to. I'm not looking for that guy either, but that's just a minimum. So it gives me a level to start at, and there's guys that come in and don't make it, and really, why are you wasting your time on those guys? Right. Your time is better spent on somebody that's gonna make $100,000. That's really should be your target's the $100,000 guy, not the $30,000 guy. So,
absolutely.
Yeah, we understand that. We understand that.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. Well, Jeff, with that said, man, I appreciate your time. Being
okay.
And Michael, I appreciate you. I appreciate you too. And let's go ahead and the takeaway is to start getting some paperwork signed, a contract done, and start putting a plan together. GPM is a great company that wants the good quality business. You've gotten an opportunity to talk directly to them. This boy gets off the phone and is going to go down there and talk to the president and the general down there, and it gives us an opportunity to place a lot of business with a company that got about $120 million in capital and surplus, and I will
double that.
Yeah, I don't know all the math and all that stuff, but I know that's a lot of money.
Hey, Jeff.
Yes.
Jeff, we'll double that. Okay.
Good.
All right. Well, friend,
we're an aggressive bunch, and we're all good people.
All right. Good. Orlando, you got anything else to say before we end this?
Jeff, of course, for his time always, and also to Michael for entrusting in us to build this new revolution that we say about final expense telesales. And just by reading your letter of intent, Michael, it really shows your tenacity as a leader, and I'm very happy that we attract like-minded people. So everything that you wrote on that letter of intent is music to our ears. Me and Laura said, man, we want to, our goal is to get 100 agents. And here comes Michael talking about 100 agents. So it's like, whoa, this is amazing. So I'm really happy about that.
And that's just the first level.